The Deutsche Werke Ortgies. Classic little pistol. Let's check it out. The Ortgies is a classic pistol. You see them a lot around gun shows. First time I saw one was 25 years ago at a local gun show, and ever since that time I've wanted one. It was about in this same condition, but it was in 32 ACP. These were very popular in the Americas, North, South, and Central America. Made in Germany from 1919 to 1924. Just a really classic, smooth design. I love mouse guns, but what I really love is a very high quality pistol. And this is the Ortgies. It's made by Deutsche Werke, made in Germany. And this company was around from 1919 to 1924. Very short time frame. Right after World War I, Heinrich Ortgies moved from Belgium back to Germany and began his company in 1919. He died 1 year later. Deutsche Werke actually bought the company. They were a shipbuilder for Germany. And in fact, in World War II, the factory was completely destroyed by Allied bombing. This is a very fine quality pistol. Even though these were fairly inexpensive back in the day when these were popular. It has a beautiful design to it. There's no rough edges. In fact, if you'll notice, there are no screws. Everything can be disassembled with just minor tools, and so that makes it really attractive. Of course, the first thing we're going to do is make sure the gun isn't loaded, and we're going to remove the magazine and check the chamber. It does have one of the heel mag releases, 7-round magazine, and this one is in 25 ACP. They also made the 32 ACP and the 380. They started out with the 380, moved from 32 and then to the 25. This is a fairly late model design pistol. One of the ways you can tell is the Deutsche Werke mark right here with the D. And it's actually a stylized cat. The head coming around and then the tail coming up to make a D. The originals were an OH, very stylized as well, for Heinrich Ortgies. During this time, there were a lot of pocket pistols made, and this was actually marketed as a vest pocket pistol. So very small, very handy, very easy to draw from a concealment. And that's because there's just nothing on this pistol to hang up on. You have a small blade at the front, and then here at the rear you have a notch. And these sights are small with a trough that runs right down the top. I mean, very well machined. Every part is either machined or forged. So just a really high craftsmanship with these little pistols. The wood grips are very nice. A lot of times these get broken and they are replaced with different grips, and these are very hard to come by. These were used back in the 20s by a lot of competitive shooters because of the accuracy of these pistols. In fact, this pistol in 32 ACP won the 1921 German Shooting National Championship, which is a really high honor. And again, they're just very well made, they're very tight, but yet they function very reliably. This one, when I took it to the range, it was just excellent accuracy and reliability. Definitely see why this won the German National Championships back in the 1920s. Even though this is 25 ACP, it'd be the same design with the 32 or the 380. Just a great little group. Had one little flyer, but these sights are tiny. And so I am very pleased with that group. I was shooting 7 yards. some Fiocchi 25 ACP. Didn't know how that was going to function, but it did well. These are easy to see targets, and as you can see, they are easy to see. The pistol comes in at 14 ounces. The slide itself is 5.5 inches. The height is 3.5, and the width, even with the grips, is 7/8 of an inch. Right here, it's about 3/4 of an inch. Very thin, very sleek. The barrel is 2 3/4 inches, and you can see it has the extractor exposed right here. Now in the 32 or 380 models, the barrel can be changed out and the same magazines can be used for both calibers, at least with the early pistols. It does have the German proof mark right here with the N for nitro, and this is the crown. The serrations on the pistol, even though they are very narrow, they are exceptional. They're able to pull that slide back really easily. And of course it is in 25 ACP, so there's not a lot of recoil needed to bring that slide back. Now one of the unique things about this little pistol is it has a grip frame safety, and you push this small button and it pops the grip frame out, and this makes it in safe mode. There's no way to actuate the trigger. Gripping it, which is very easy, hear the click, and then it remains in the fire position. So no matter how many shots you make, even after you finish and drop your magazine, this gun is still in the cock position. So this really relieves the striker, which it is a striker fired pistol, which we'll look at when we break the pistol down. The trigger pull on here is a little bit mushy, and I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger. It has a take up and then a little snap, but it's not too bad. In fact, it's about 4 pounds 10 ounces. I got that a number of times with my Lyman trigger gauge right around the 4 pound 10 ounce mark, so it's really consistent. But these pistols are not good to repeatedly dry fire. It can break the firing pin. And these parts, where you can find them occasionally, they can be fairly hard to get. The grips are extremely hard to find because one of the things that's about the grips is there's a little thing that snaps it into place, and you just push it and it drops the grips free. And a lot of guys have taken screwdrivers and tried to pop the grips off and have ended up breaking their grips. It is very well balanced in the hand. And because it's 25 ACP, it has very light recoil. And so it's really a pleasure to shoot at the range. And with this kind of quality, it makes it even better. Now this one has a really nice finish to it. There are a lot of really rough ones. In fact, I bought this on Gunbroker. I paid about 300 bucks for it, and that's about the value of it. But I really wanted a good specimen. They do have the 380s and 32 ACPs on there regularly, but a lot of them, again, are very rough. They did make this in a nickel finish. There were just some that were made, but if you find this in the chrome, they've been redone. You'll often see refinished and replated guns. To disassemble the pistol, just remove your magazine, make sure the gun is unloaded. You'll need to go ahead and release the striker by hitting your button here for your grip safety. Make sure that you don't grip it here to re-engage it. And then just push down on the button, pull the slide back, and then just pull it up like this. Sometimes it's a little tricky to get it just right. You have your recoil spring, and of course you have the fixed barrel here. This barrel can be taken out and changed. All you have to do is turn it counterclockwise. It's a little bit tight, and I've had a little trouble getting this one out, but I've seen a lot of guys just take it and turn it. The striker right here, you want to pull it back until you see those teeth, and then you bring it up. Right here, you can see there's a little section that kind of comes out and corresponds with that little groove. The feed ramp is really deep for the magazine, and this really allows for good, reliable feeding. You can see that it comes up way above, and then it just really brings them in there. But it's a very well machined piece. The internals are done very well. Of course, again, this one's really dirty from shooting, but really overall it's a really high quality pistol. If you decide to take your grips off, there's a little clip that's down in there about midway, and you push it back and it releases the grips. I'm not going to do that because this one is really tight. In fact, I attempted to do it and it was just so tight. I think this gun has not been shot a whole lot. I think it's been sitting in a drawer. But you can look up there and see the little lever and be able to push it. Just do not pry these grips. In fact, once you release it, the grips will just fall off free. And this is all you need to do to field strip the pistol. Okay, to reassemble, one of the things you need to pay attention to is there's a small little groove right here. And I'm going to show you how that fits in. Go ahead and bring your striker, drop it down, bring the striker all the way to the front, And then the little head on your firing pin, take it and just drop it. It'll rest right in that little groove. If you don't do that, you're not going to be able to reassemble the pistol. Take the small end of the recoil spring and put it over your barrel. It'll go under this little hood like so. Now, one thing you want to make sure is that the striker here is in the rear position. So hold the button down and just bring it all the way back, making sure your grip safety is forward. This is also going to allow you to put the slide back on. Slide it through the barrel with the recoil spring, and then just, there it goes. Just snap it into place. Sometimes it takes a little finagling to get it, but it's not too difficult. Magazine slides right in. At the range, very reliable. Had one little misfeed just while shooting, but other than that, nothing. And I shot over 100 rounds. I had 50 rounds of Fiocchi, 50 rounds of Remington 25 ACP. The Fiocchi was new, and I really was curious if it would feed this little pistol. A lot of times the small pistols can have issues, but the 25 ACPs typically do very well. If you have a 22, sometimes they can they can be a little finicky with ammo. But this little guy shot fantastic, no recoil whatsoever. I mean, it was just so easy to shoot. Yeah, the sights on this pistol are very minimal. Of course, this is a vest pistol or a pocket pistol, so they're made to be very small. But you can see just a little groove here, a little tiny blade at the front, but it does the job. Action, very smooth. It doesn't hold open on the last round. I did hear some reports of maybe a little bit of a slide bite, especially with the 32 or the 380s. But for me, my hands are just medium, and it didn't really catch at all. In fact, I had no problems whatsoever. I think if you have really meaty hands and you get it up here, definitely going to have a little bit of a slide bite issue. But this pistol, the recoil on it is so mild that you really can hold it kind of low, and you don't have to put a death grip on it to shoot it. The serrations, very easy to get a hold of, and of course with the slide being very easy, I just really like this little guy. To give you an idea of the 25 ACP as far as a self-defense round, we have 22 long rifle, 25 ACP, 32 ACP, 380 ACP, and then 9mm parabellum. As far as self-defense goes, really the 9mm and the 380 are pretty much the two rounds that you should look at for concealed carry. You know, a 45 or 40 caliber, obviously. The 32 is getting a little bit weak and not really considered a really highly effective self-defense round. The 25 is definitely very anemic. And so, you know, but the problem is there's a lot of 25s out there. A lot of people will pick up 25s, they inherit them, they just keep that. It's a very light recoil round. And so while the 25 ACP is not a great self-defense round, there are people that are going to carry it. And shot placement is super important when it comes to these little pistols. Of course, I would rather be missed by a 44 Magnum than hit by a 25 ACP. So it's better to have something than nothing, but this is getting down there to minimal self-defense. But with the Ortgies, we have 7 rounds and then 1 in the chamber, so you have a total of 8 rounds, which will give you some ability for self-defense. One of the things I like to say with 25 ACP is fight and then flight. Get the heck out of there. You know, I've really tried to think about something I don't like about this pistol. And there's nothing not to like. Definitely the caliber is not a self-defense caliber, but it certainly is a great little firearm. And for what it is, it's just an excellent pistol. So the Deutsche Werke Ortgies, excellent little pistol. Thumbs way up. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America, long live the Republic. So the Deutsche Werke Ortgies, the Deutsche Werke Ortgies, good gosh.